Hello, everybody. You probably didn't hear a damn thing I've just been saying for the past minute and a half. But welcome, Vega Squadron against Power Rangers game number 2. I don't know how that happened. Interesting.
This break, it totally broke you. Like, I don't know.
Very, very interesting. Well, yes, I was talking about the draft. Broodmother, Vega Squadron, signature hero. They get that in the first phase. Clockwork and Winter Wyvern, good teamfight control. And they're both decent against Broodmother in like the mid game. But I think the first 15 minutes, it's a lot to do with them sort of taking fights elsewhere, away from the Broodmother. But this Wisp, they don't get the Tiny to go with it. What do you expect from Vega to actually go along with it?
It's not even the fact that they have some sort of like combo that they usually on. It's just the fact that they utilize this Wisp really well. Like these two heroes, Io and Broodmother, are like these signature heroes from Vega, and I'm actually quite surprised they let it through. I'm not sure the Queen of... I honestly would rather take the Queen of Pain than the Io, I think, almost. But, you know, maybe that's just me. Vega Squadron, I think, yeah, the Io, there's technically still the Bristleback, for example, which is actually a good pick just because you would also take it away from Power Rangers. Because Bristleback, in my opinion, is actually quite okay against the Broodmother. So, it is definitely something that Vega has run before. But yeah, this is so annoying to deal against, and I'm not sure if Witch Doctor and Winter Wyvern on lane alone will be enough to get rid of her. The sustain from the Witch Doctor is nice, so even if you do get harassed by those Spider Links and Spider Rights, you can sort of like deal with it, and you also have like the Cold Embrace, but you know, it's not optimal.
Twitch chat is catching up, and yep, Global Silence is out.
For 24 hours.
I've been global silenced, absolutely. Oh, I had... Wait, that also means that no one heard me when I was talking about the game being delayed a little bit as well. So, yeah, Mag had some internet issues, things like that. And I was messing around with the countdown a little bit because I was getting irritated. You know, the countdown keeps going down to 1 second, and it's like, right, I'm going to change it. We'll start in a minute, right? That's how long they'll take. And it's like, nope, 5 minutes later, 10 minutes later. Oh, God, I'm going to get into the game. But everything's good now, I think. Everything's fine. Power Rangers, I feel that the way their draft is going, they're focusing heavily on laning phase, right? They've got some good teamfight ultis, sure. But laning phase is what they're looking at here against things like Broodmother and Wisp, where rune control is very important. And I kind of feel like they're gonna go for some heroes that maybe utilize the jungle a little bit more. You know, stack some camps, go for Shadow Fiend, something along those lines. Just build yourself up that little bit faster. While Witch Doctor and Winter Wyvern can really move between lanes pretty nicely. You know, Wyvern we've seen from Vega Squadron, from a couple of other CIS teams. Rather than doing that like level 1, I'm gonna sit at mid lane, I'm gonna Arctic burn you. They do that for a little bit, but getting levels on Wyvern is really, really great. Level 2 Splinter Blast does a ton of damage, and you can actually gank decently, efficiently with that hero.
Yeah, it's a pretty good burst, especially against somebody like a Wisp. Wisp is not the tankiest hero early on, so that Splinter Blast actually really hurts, especially since Io is always going to have somebody near him, usually, that you can cast a Splinter Blast on, so it's pretty easy to hit it on the Io end. Power Rangers go for the signature Magnus on a rise and immediate Rubik pickup by Vega. They didn't even hesitate for a second, and I kind of understand because there's just so many spells that you want to steal and that you can steal. The Death Ward, the Winter's Curse, even the Splinter Blast, as we mentioned, is a really good spell to steal, and of course the RP.
Yeah. Wombo combo is there for Power Rangers, and I guess with Magnus going towards middle lane for a rise, Clockwork off lane, the last hero is going to be for Tron down on the bot lane, right? Something that can combo up with this pretty decent wombo that they've got with Winter's Curse, RP, and I think Vega Squadron are going to look for like a Phantom Assassin ban here, just to stop that, you know, empowered PA jumping on you and critting through everybody. Because she's pretty good against Brood, Gyro, you know, the evasion, the crits, the hits, the cleave. And Wisp plus Rubik, they're both positional supports. If you can blink onto them and stop that displacement they get from things like relocating their teammates away from telekinesis on their opponents, then Phantom Assassin can really get into the thick of things relatively early on with a stats build.
Yeah, and she's also a really good hero to lock down those supports really early on. One thing about the Wisp, what you really want to do is in a team fight, you would just want to burst him down. And if you get a jump off and get a lucky crit, that Wisp is gone. At the same time, though, I think in the very same notion, I think Phantom Lancer is also a pretty good pickup.
Ooh.
They just go for the Slark. You know, they don't even listen to us. They just ignore us. How rude. It's also a good pickup. Also, the same notion, Slark is able to pick off these supports.
Yeah.
Wisp especially is really good. The Dark Pact is actually really strong against those Spiderlings as well. So it makes a lot of sense, especially since Slark is such an elusive hero, especially if you go for like something like a Shadow Blade. It forces out the supports to, or it forces like your opponents to invest a lot of money into like detection, right? And I feel like this is something that is always underrated when you consider item choices. The fact that, yeah, Shadow Blade, sure, it can easily be countered with like Sentry Dust, but it forces out this detection coming out from the supports.
So now, Vega need a hero for no one towards the middle lane. They've got Mag's Broodmother, they've got Pasha on a Gyrocopter, they've got Wisp that could pair up with something towards the mid, but Wisp Gyro has been this like CIS staple. The old, you know, silent combo with the Gyro plus Wisp. You just run at people, you've got the sustain to keep yourself going. I think you could definitely do defensive tri-lane up at top, Wisp Rubik plus Gyro, and shut down the Clockwork entirely. But what hero can go down to the bottom lane and not only survive against Witch Doctor Wyvern, who do a ton of damage early on with Arctic Burn, Maledict, and the Cask being thrown out? Slark also sets things up nicely with Pounce, and okay. Alchemist. Gonna be your mid lane hero for no one, so farm up a little bit more on that hero.
This is actually pretty good, because the issue with Alchemist running him as a mid laner oftentimes is the fact that there's a lot of mid heroes that can just sort of like trash him, I guess. I feel like Alchemist, if you run him as a support and if he's in a very, like, it's easy to have an unfavorable matchup in the mid lane, I think. And usually you see him being like supported, being pulled a lot, but quite frankly against Magnus, he is fine. Like Acid Spray is actually a pretty good spell, even against like ranged heroes. So against a melee hero, you know, I think no one will have actually pretty good time.
Let's see if he gets his first bounty rune though. That's,
oh yeah,
that's the kicker, because you can get that. Yeah, he's going for the bottle rush build pretty much. He's moving up towards top lane. Hang on
they could technically put Mag into the mid lane. They've done it before. I do think that it's gonna be no one in the mid lane though, just because I think again it's such a favorable matchup. Mag, Broodmother on the off lane does so well, but what kind of worries me is the fact that he actually goes Stout Shield and Quelling Blade. Like, this is the kind of build that if you see it in pubs on your carry, you're like sighing already, because you don't want to see that kind of stuff. Usually you want to see stats or something. But yeah, I guess he just wants that bottle and just, you know, doesn't care too much about the rest. I mean, he does get Tango's Pool, so I guess it's okay.
Yeah, it's fine. It's going to allow him to last it a little bit easier, and I wonder if Arise plays against this by going, like we've seen Magnus's go and power level 1, yeah, exactly, and that might be the way he looks at this, because Shockwave isn't going to do a massive amount.
I think if you see his item build, I think you definitely consider going for Empower. And if there's one Magnus player that can make full use of it, it's Arise, right?
Yeah.
Just because he's the Magnus player aside from S4. So yeah, I definitely, it's a good point. It's good that you pointed it out, because this is something that I hope he does, just because I feel like he can utilize the fact that no one is going a bit like quote-unquote greedy. Of course, this is like, I mean, oh my god, this bounty rune, instant bottle, by the way. It's like,
hang on a second, solo. That's kind of interesting, actually. So the fact that they're, you know, obviously giving that bottle over to the Alchemist early on, the Wisp isn't going to go for the bottle rush. Is this bottle going to stick on solo though? Because they've given him the bottle for now. He's gone Mango with Tango, you know, a bunch of regen basically. So the Wisp has gone full regen build. The bottle is still over on this Wisp, so I guess solo stacks and basically plays this as though it's, you know, a regular old Wisp combo. You stack camps, you control runes, you rotate from lane to lane, and you help out top a little bit. But this means that no one doesn't have that bottle, but it also means that he doesn't have to worry about bottle crowing, ferrying things back and forth. He can just focus on lane and lane alone, while down at bottom lane, Mag, okay, so speaking of lanes, you're dead. First blood, go the way of Big Num. Witch Doctor picks that one up as Mag's Broodmother. 2 sentries placed, so the fact that he can come back down to this lane now, if he's not being given sentries or anything, so he still has to worry about the double sentries placed. He's definitely killable down here.
Yeah. As for solo, I think he's doing pretty much what you said. He's just been stacking, I think, 2 camps just now, and now he's returned or rotated to the mid lane and is helping out no one. So it's basically a dual lane up against the Magnus, and Even without the dual lane setup, honestly, no one was doing actually quite fine. So probably just going to apply a lot of pressure to Rise. I feel like they don't necessarily need the Wisp on this top lane just because Clockwork... I think the Rubik itself is okay in terms of like harassing him out of the lane.
Also the fact you can telekinesis out of Cogs and into Rocket Barrage. I think that's the killer here. You know, heroes like Earthshaker and Rubik are both very good against the Clockwork. You stop the positional advantage you get from Cogs and the kind of displacement factor that Cheshire Cat maybe looks for. As he tried to pull that creep wave across, but he's just a little bit too late, it looks like there. And looking down towards bottom lane, Arise gets the bounty, but Big Num as well as J4, Witch Doctor and Winter Wyvern, they're both looking for the Broodmother. He's hiding away here. Solo gets DD rune up at top. Cheshire Cat not going to get his hands on that, but no one not getting any more bounty runes for now.
Yeah. What I'm like curious about is though the fact that Solo, he actually didn't spend any money in the beginning. He only bought the stuff after no one was gonna pick up the bounty rune. So it feels like they sort of like contemplated giving him the bounty rune after all, or possibly wanted to see if they could get both bounty runes at the beginning.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I think it's if the Radiant contested top bounty rune, then you know they give Mag the bot one, something like that, and they just go with it. Give the Wisp the bottle rush, and no one tries to go into something a little bit different. But you know, this is the thing up at top. Telekinesis back into nothing. Not going to get that kill up there. But they just kept their options open, basically. Because now you look at No One, he can still go for the bottle after Boots quelling. He hasn't even used any of his shared tangos. He's actually going to go straight into Treads, so I'm guessing the Treads medallion build for him. Now, if we look later on into the game, there's no one you necessarily would love to give Aghanim Scepter to, right? Rubik is pretty good, but there's no one else that's amazingly great. Gyrocopter is kind of meh.
Global call on, man.
Like... I'm speaking like in terms of Disruptor, Aghanims, you know, Witch Doctor upgrade, Venomancer. It's not up to par, honestly. It's nowhere near as good as them. But I guess if you get into like 50, 60 minutes, something like that, you've got the money. Gyrocopter Global Ag, just throw the call down wherever you want to.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, even just the stats are kind of okay, and most of the time you don't really. I mean, a lot of times you don't necessarily see the Aghanims desperately being purchased because you want it desperately on another hero. It's just like one of those perks, right? Sure, it would be nice to have like a hero that can fully utilize the Aghanims, as for example like a Venomancer, what we've seen before. But at the same time, just Rubik itself is also pretty fine. That means that Seema can like focus on getting like 4-staff blink, these kind of like elusive items, and no one can also just focus on his own item progression more so than just trying to say go for like a 4th item Aghanim Scepter.
3 minutes 40 in. Bottle, Treads, Quelling Blade. This Alchemist is a monster, and they're stacking up these camps pretty nicely as well. Solo getting his job done up there. And Mag, he knows what's happening down the bot lane. These sentries are going to expire soon. The 2 ones on lane anyway. He's going to know the timing of this, and he's going to realize soon that he can actually start applying a lot of pressure down here. There is dust on Winter Wyvern and another sentry on Big Num. And the fact that Tron on this Slark, and the Pounce and the Dark Pact, there's so much damage just sort of being flung at you if you do get caught that it's difficult. Mid lane, Arise. How's he doing? 17-1, so he's getting his farm on as well. I wonder where he heads though, because again, I kind of feel like Power Rangers, they can hit their stride just at the right moment. They've got that wombo combo. Once they get their level 6s, once they get into like level 8, sort of 12, 13, maybe a little bit later on, minutes into the game, then they can go and take team fights and force the issue around tier 1 towers. But between like 13 and 25, that's when Alchemist starts to kick into swing, right? That's when Broodmother's taking down tier 1s and tier 2s, and I missed the kill up on top. Clockwork does drop. But yeah, up until like 25 minutes in, that's where Vega come into swing, and then it swings back a little bit. You know, Slark gets his items. They've got the wombo combo still going over on Power Rangers.
That's actually what I really like about the Power Rangers sort of like lineup. They not only do they have the sort of like wombo combo, but they also have the pickoff potential. You know, they have the Clockwork, they have the Slark. So if they do want to go for those gangs, technically they can still do that. But they can also take like 5-on-5 team fights head on if they wanted to. So in that regard, it's a well-rounded lineup. But as you said, of course, there's that timing where Vega's lineup is just a bit more, just a bit stronger in general.
It's just that like burst of farming speed that they get from No One, I think. Like Medallion isn't really done. They've got a pretty good rush taking lineup as well, with Medallion, Spiderlings, the fact that Broodmother's down on this dire off lane.
Look at this. No one is now going to clear those camps. It's gonna be bling bling all day.
Easy stuff. Now, how much money is he gonna get from this? Another. He's gonna put him
let's take a guess. Let's take a guess. I'm gonna say 1.5k is gonna be at the end. Like he's gonna be at 1.5k afterwards.
I think it's gonna be at 12:30.
Ah, yeah, you're probably right. I probably overestimated, but we'll see. We'll see.
I'm just gonna keep my eye on the map.
Actually, it's only one level in Grievous Greed. What the hell? How do you not? How do you even scale Unstable Concoction? That's like the most useless spell nowadays.
Well, wait. He just bought Medallion Recipe, right?
Yeah, he has the full medallion.
Did he have the other components already? He did, right?
Yeah, he did. So he has the full medallion. Yeah.
So we're up to 700, 880, 900. Okay, so he would have been on 1070.
Yeah, you're closer. Again, I kind of assumed he was going to be at level 2 Grievous Greed.
Oh, mid, Cheshire Cat, Telekinesis back, but no one coming in with a concoction, going to stun himself.
See,
not going to
be
completely
useless.
Useless ability. Bottom lane mag has been caught, pounced back with the dust. And the kill on the Clockwork not coming to fruition, but the kill down on bottom lane, that Broodmother dying twice now. Man.
I will say, though, that Mac has been doing a really good job at staying elusive, despite the 2 sentries that we pointed out earlier, or like even 3 sentries at some point. And they even have like a dust as well. So I think Mac played it honestly really well. The fact that he only died twice against this lineup, or against this tri-lane, is pretty good. And he's still like, he even managed to get level 4 and Soul Ring. So as a Broodmother, this is totally fine. You're just going to catch up later on when they leave the lane anyway. Yeah. You know these supports, they want to get level 6. Big Nom as, well, J4. They want to get their big ultis up and running, and they've got a stack and pulse. They've got to leave this lane a little bit. Now, Tron, he's not going to get pressured immensely by the Broodmother right now, but I agree with you. Once she starts getting to, like, level 5 is the key point, really. Level 3 in Spawn Spiderlings, you can actually start using it as a nuke. We used to see it a ton against anti-mage, like TI1, TI2, TI3, Broodmother, oh, maybe not TI1, but Broodmother against AM. You just spam Spawn Spiderlings as that nuke damage onto the hero over and over again, and actually just chip them down over time. I was actually so happy when there was a meta where Broodmother was not involved after TI2, but, you know. Oh, solo! Nope. Ryze tried to be cute, steer him away from the rune, but, you know, Solo was just hugging that rune. He's building towards an urn and almost has it, actually. But yeah, I like this. I mean, we pointed it out in the first game, but Vega's doing a really good job at giving their supports the kind of space that they want. Like, when no one rotates to the jungle, it's almost like the perfect timing for Solo to go to the mid lane, and he does it as well. So, I don't know. This is like really... They perfected this kind of timing of giving like everybody the space they need. And I feel like Power Rangers is not really doing a good enough job. Like, pretty much the same as in the first game. They're not really doing good enough of a job to sort of like pressure them to make the mistakes, because for right now Vega can just play the farm game, right? Okay, so this Alchemist has 70 last hits, 5,100 net worth. The Solar Crest is done, and like I said, they have a good Roche taking lineup, but I don't think they can just go and rush in there. You know, they can't go right now. They can't go at the 10-minute mark. They've got to make something happen before that, find a fight, maybe take a tier 1, or they can just ignore that entire concept and say, hey, we're out farming. We will continue to out farm. We'll get Solo up to level 6. We've got this Gyrocopter farming way at top lane. You know, he's second in terms of net worth. Slark is just behind him, but Slark has this kind of threshold where he needs that little bit more, right? The Gyro with levels, with phase, drums, Ring of Aquila, just those bare bones stats. You can go and fight and fight and fight. The Slark, he kind of needs treads, Aquila, then you need that one big item. You need the key tipping point item, the Shadow Blade, the Blink, whatever you go for, to actually make yourself viable in team fights, to go and pick people off in the back lines, look for the supports, or maybe even just go in for this Alchemist, who I feel is kind of weak against the Slark in a lot of respects, but with the Solar Crest, it makes it so difficult to kill him. Yeah, it really does. And I love this item bit as well. I mean, Alchemist hasn't really been in the meta for a while, but now that he is, people realize, hey, you know, Solar Crest is actually a pretty sick item on him. And yeah, it is really good just as a first item as well. Sure, like, armor is really like the biggest issue that Alchemist has, right? He's pretty much like Doom in that regard. So I like it. I mean, sure, you want a bit of health as well, but you know, he's gonna build up health anyway later on. Treads are, in my opinion, sufficient in terms of like health early on anyway. So this is pretty good item build up, and no one. He's just, oh my god, again, he's just farming and farming. He's so far ahead. He's soon gonna start on Ancients as well. Like, oh my god. Okay, there's
For a second there, I thought like there were big stacks of Ancients or something built up for him, but...
He wanted to stack them, but I think he missed the timing or something. I don't know. He walked, or no, Solo walked up there and I don't know, one of them missed the timing.
He eyed them. He looked at them and thought, you need to be stacked. Smoke up to top. Arise with his freshly bought Blink Dagger is going to get the RP onto Seema, but that is a support Rubik getting picked off by the big old ulti of Arise, and now you've got to feel that Vega, you know, they can be a little more loose with their play. There isn't a big old RP to catch them out. There's no Blink RP. There's Winter's Curse, which is annoying. There's Hookshot, sure. But they don't have to, you know, Delta split. They don't have to separate massively. At this stage in the game, this is where Gyrocopter is at his, you know, one of his power spikes. I'm not going to say at his peak, obviously, because that's much later on. Top lane, Concoction, Acid Spray as well. No one with a Relocate coming in as well. Nice. Cogs there to push no one back. Well, stolen out. That cask, Seema's not going to be able to cast it. It's Voodoo Restoration anyway. No stuns, but maybe Pasha with the drums and face boots can catch up. J4, there we go. 4-man in there, Arise. Again, no RP, so it doesn't really do anything. It just stops Vega from playing too aggressively into them. Seema, that range creep, that sealed your demise. Bouncing the cask back and forth and back again. But down to bottom lane, Tron has been stopped from farming, so they lose a Rubik. That's all they lose. They lose Rubik twice in a row to RP and then a Winter's Curse, so that's 2 big ultimates down for a Rubik kill. They get the tier 1 at bot, and PR aren't gaining anything. Like Slark, okay, he's got 2,400 gold, but in the long run, they need this period of the game to be really swinging in their favor, and right now, Vega have a 3,000 net worth lead. Experience, Power Rangers are barely scraping away with it, but look at that. Mag Midas on the Broodmother. The Gyro can fight, the Alchemist has a blink, so he's going to go and fight as well. They've got Wisp level 6 and Rubik level 6. Everything at their disposal now to actually go and battle it out against these big, long cooldown ultimates.
Yeah, this is pretty much what Vega wants. Like, this is all going according to plan. Seriously, like, everything that they wanted, they pretty much achieved. Yeah, sure, Rubik died twice. Like, that's pretty much the only issue they've had so far. And quite frankly, Power Rangers, as you said, like, they definitely overcommitted for a Rubik kill. I'm not even sure he needed to use the RP in that. Like, I honestly expected he was just going to skewer him, because a Magnus player like Arise, he honestly just uses Blink Skewer, right? So, or at least in that position, I don't know. Was maybe just panicking a bit as well, so... It's very, very unfortunate, but he has it up again, so maybe they can find something here, especially since Witchstruct is level 6 now.
Cheshire Cat's looking for the hook shot from the high ground, and this is where Vega are very aware of their situation, because, you know, they've played Clockwork to death. Mag was one of the first people that kind of found that Clockwork little, I don't know, a little glitch, little abuse over on the east side on that Dire off lane. He's very adept with his hook shots as well, and they're very good with the Wisp Tiny, so they know when these timings come. When people are just going to jump in onto you. These big cooldown ultimates are all ready to be really taken out here by Power Rangers. And look at this. They kind of feel forced. I don't know if this is Vega moving around as 4 and pushing into the tier 1 that's doing this, or if it's just the fact that Power Rangers know they need to take a team fight, and they know they need to get this game into their own hands to try and... You know, they're basically grasping at straws here. They're looking for any little advantage they can eke out, but if they're grouping up as 4, while the opponent is okay grouping up as 4 as well, but you look at Vega, they're farming middle lane. They aren't sitting back defensively, hiding behind their tier 1. And this is why Arise and Tron have both gone into the Dire jungle, and they're wrapping around behind as well. If they can catch Solo or Seema on the back lines here, Cask thrown out, J4, there's the RP onto 2 though, hookshot catches Solo, he's dead to the little old slug as well, and the cogs trap him in. Seema, gone, down and out, no one, pretty much last man standing. With Wisp coming in, no one's still battling through it all, but the Cheshire Cat Clockwork pounds through it, and the Slug has taken another one. No one with your blink back. Can you escape from this? Apparently you can't, and my final point was going to be Broodmother is pushing bottom lane, so all Vega have to do is draw this out and not get caught, but they got caught.
The Wombo combo, really, that was amazingly well played from Power Rangers. The RP, I think, hit both supports. No, it hit only the Rubik and I believe the Gyrocopter, but those are pretty much enough, right? Yeah.
So there was one hero up at the far north that just got pounded by the Slark. He jumped in, 3 hits with the Empower, and he was dead.
Yeah. So that backstep, as you pointed out, from Arise and from Slark, was really well done. That sort of like flank. I don't think that Vega expected it whatsoever. They didn't really have any vision in that area anyway, and it just felt like they sort of like only expected this like frontal sort of like engagement. So that was pretty unfortunate.
Exactly. Like, this is what I was saying, where Power Rangers, they felt forced, but they made a very good switch in movement where they went from a linear approach where it's just straight down the middle, we'll go and fight them, let's go head on head, to this kind of, right, we need to farm a little bit. So it wasn't just that they switched their tactical maneuver to get an advantage for the team fight, but they also farmed in the period between actually waiting around and actually going in for the engagement. Now, Mag and Tron, a little dance around the trees there. What?
I think they found him. They found him.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Get vision of him. And with the dust, sentry down as well. Oh, take that little kill. What do you think Mag buys in this situation as his primary item?
Radiance. I think Radiance is the call here.
For Brood?
I think yeah. He does it, dude.
Not for Alc. See, the thing is, there's Alc in the game. I kind of expect...
Yeah, I think how should I put it? I think it is better on the Brood in this game. I think if you have the decision to make between either Brood or Alchemist, I think you want to have it on the Brood Mother. I feel just because the Brood Mother is just I don't know. I feel like the way no one has built up his Aghanims or his Alchemist, not his Aghanims, his Alchemist so far is like a battling Alchemist, right? And I don't feel like the Battle Alchemist really wants to go for the Radiance. I mean, yeah, the mischance is nice, but I think you want like AC first, for example. If you get an early AC on no one, it's not only going to accelerate your pushing ability, but until your team fight is going to be really strong because his teammates they just got killed within like seconds.
Oh, Power Rangers have dragged it back a little bit. 1,000 net worth lead for them, but that was a good, what, 4,500 swing away from Vega. Got themselves a good amount of experience, but away from the graphs we go as Pasha. He's shredded by the Death Ward, even though that skewer misses. Arise wanted to get the hell out of there in case there's any kind of re-engagement. Bottom lane, Mag. Oh, he's not going to get saved by Solo. Still taken out by Tron. 12-1, 18 minutes in. And Power Rangers, this is completely different to game one. You know, again, they draft themselves into a situation where they don't necessarily require themselves to win early game. You know, it's good if they do. They can snowball pretty heavily with the lineup they've got, and with the combos that they can achieve with these teamfight ultimates. Then sure, if you're going to be fighting around Roshan at 25 minutes in, then so be it. But the fact that Slark is snowballing and farming, he's up to 9,200 net worth. He is not far behind the Alchemist, who has Grievel's Greed and Bounty Runes at his disposal, with 144 last hits on the Alch, 154 on the Slark. Of course, Spiderlings makes up a decent chunk of that. But here's the Roshan from the Dire I was talking about. Spiderlings come in, Acid Spray as well as that Solar Crest come in with a minus armor. But guess what? Rocket Flare scalps it. I'm not sure if they're reacting.
They're really not in a position to do so. They definitely need Mag for a Rise for that, but not only is his RP on cooldown, he's so far away. Like, actually, it takes Vega a bit longer than I anticipated. So yeah, they're actually going to be in position to fight this. In fact, Tron is going to find Solo, and Solo's dead.
Oh, he actually gets up onto the high ground. No one wants to actually battle with that slot. But yeah, the change to this medallion. So, oh, what? Cheshire Cat, no, you're up on the cliff. That's not where you want to be. No one is now actually having to fight against Tron, but this is a powered slot. The damage output's immense. With a Rise skewing across into the Winter's Curse, it's like a vacuum combo. No one caught with Seema, and that's what, 4 dead? Nobody in exchange, and Broodmother just limps away. I'm done with this, and they take the Roshan as well. It's all theirs. Power Rangers 16-1. Vega Squadron in a ton of trouble.
Didn't even need the RP. They still have it, and they can use it for the next fight if they want to. So yeah, that was some insane play from Power Rangers. I mean, I guess it's sort of to be expected because if they do contest it, they have a lot of spells that are really good in this kind of like choke position. I mean, they have the Cask, which is really strong. They have the Winter's Curse, and of course, even the Skewer is pretty nice. And Vega, that's devastating. I sort of like expected them to have Solo.
Yeah.
Again, he's dead.
He tethers across though. Pasha is here with a cooldown, landing onto Cheshire Cat. There's no cogs, there's a Blade Mail, and he can turn the damage back here, but there's no one to save him. He is all alone, left high and dry.
I keep thinking Solo's dead, but he's actually tankier than I keep expecting. That's damn Urn, dude.
I don't know, it's the mango. It's definitely the mango. The 1 HP regen a second. But yeah, honestly, Wand Urn, you're right. Yeah, now with the Buckler as well, he'll have his mech pretty quickly. He's got a decent amount of HP. His armor isn't that great, but the big problem is Mac. He had to go back for the Vlads. So Midas into Vlads, you don't have any big aggressive items. This is a... Oh, I don't know, it's not a defensive item, it's just like a desperation item, right? You know you need something. You need something to try and turn the tides of the fight. You can't buy into a BKB, an Orchid, or anything big like that. You can't, you can't invest for the next 10-15 minutes. You have to buy something right here, right now to help split pushing, to help in team fights that does... It ticks all the boxes, but it just doesn't tick them very well.
Yeah, I also think Arise, he's gonna find Pasha. Pasha's pretty much by himself. But is there any follow-up? Oh, he misses the RP! What? I thought this is the son of Magnus 2.0.
You know what he's saying right now in TeamSpeak?
Lag, reborn.
No, I'm such a fucking dumpster player, honestly. joinDota wouldn't have done this kind of nonsense. Dog shit player.
I think if you're Pasha, you just go with the good old question mark in all chat. Because that was, I don't know.
Have you heard Arise cast before?
No, I have not, unfortunately. Actually, I have, yeah.
That's all he ever says, and I can just imagine him in TeamSpeak. That's all he ever says. He just quotes joinDota. He calls everyone dumpster player, even himself. Clockwork, good hook shot onto Seema, and there's no way of saving him. Rubik is gonna die in here. Solo gets pushed back, and the relocate is actually wasted. Cooldown will come in onto the top of Cheshire Cat's head, and Tron in the thick of things there with his Dark Pact. He's got his Shadow Blade, his Skadi, his Aegis, and this Slark is unstoppable right now. Good tether across from Solo back to Pasha, but no one. What are you doing with this? Acid spray down onto the Ancients for your enemies? They're going to clear through this, no problem.
Thanks, guys. We really could use the minus armor on these Ancients. Yeah. No one is actually going back for... No one is actually going to pick up the Radiance. As you pointed out, Mac did, after all, go for the Eve lads. I still think that the Radiance would have been better on the Brute Mother, but I guess he just realized that he's not going to get it in time. Like, it's not going to be useful if you get it at, like, what, 28 minutes or something? So, yeah, I guess this is fine.
I guess I should clarify. I know Arise, and I know that Twitch chat's going to be like, oh my god, he's flaming. But, no. No shots fired. I wasn't actually flaming Arise. Don't worry, guys. He's not going to smash my head in and tell me to measure my words.
Your words,
yep. That's not going to happen. 17-2 though. This Alchemist, for the first 6-7 minutes, we thought, oh god, he's cruising. He's out of control. He's going back for a Radiance now with that relic up. Actually finishes it, so he's got that done. Now. We've seen the power of Manta Octarine Radiance acting like a Nalga and just, running around being annoying in general.
So annoying.
Is that what you do here?
Yeah, I think you go for the strategic play against Power Rangers here. I don't think you want to take any more team fights at the moment, honestly. I think you just want to split push right now, just because team fights you lose them.
Hey, there we go. Seema, RP onto him. They love killing off this Rubik. You catch that one.
Honestly, there has to be some personal hate. There's no way you RP a solo Rubik twice. Rubik who has like the least amount of net worth in this game. Like, there's no way you do that unless there's like some personal hate. But I guess kill is a kill, and I mean, if you look at the state of the game, I guess it's sort of unlikely to find another kill within the next, I don't know, 90 seconds until that RP is up again. So hashtag worth.
It's fine. Like we've seen the power of this. Okay. Well, he skewers through the trees, but we've seen the power of skewer into Winter's Curse. They use it like a vacuum as well, so they don't rely
top lane
fully.
Cheshire Cat.
Oh god, what's going up on here? No, Cheshire Cat is okay, but the dive was there. Arise.
If he had RP, he would have force staffed into RP. By the way, I'm just saying.
Where's he going now? He's got skewer in 8. He's wanting to chase this. The rest of his team are coming in. He blinks forward. Pasha takes the shockwave. Arise. He's got force and skewer, and he's gonna go for it. Oh, that's a play. That's a play right there. Takes him away. Solo, you're done for, mate.
Okay, you can do that, but not just skew a Rubik into a cask. I'm just saying. But yeah, that's just son of Magnus 2.0 right there.
He had to make up for himself, you know. That's one of those plays where it's like, yep. I have to pull out all the stops now. But honestly, it's such a beauty to watch sometimes, the things that people who are, so adept with one hero, the actual plays they can pull off. Because you can be a good, solid all-round player, and you can be crisp and clean. But then you see something that seems so simple, force into skewer, but it's the timing of it, the actual mechanics behind it, where you have to, you know, actually get your hero into the turn animation and then skewer back. It's just like when people started discovering the turn RP.
Yeah.
2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, people didn't do this. People blink RP'd, then they'd run around the opponents, and then they'd skewer. And I can't remember who the first to do it was, but it was just this thing of beauty, where all of a sudden people are jumping in, turn animation to start things off, and then RP. So you actually get the heroes in the direction you want them to.
Yeah, and it's just that for Rise, at this point, it's basically like muscle memory, right? He does this without even thinking about it. And this is like the beauty of him seeing this being played. They're gonna find no one here.
Oh.
Are they, though? Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
he should be dead, right?
He's rogered, absolutely done for. I was looking down at Mag thinking, oh, they're going to try and gank Mag, the Broodmother, who has been standing almost AFK by his tier 2 tower for a good 3 minutes or so, just waiting and waiting and making sure he's not going to die. The push up top, Gyrocopter, he's got solo. Oh, he did have solo behind him, so there's no relocate just now. But they're looking for a trade-off, it looks like. But Power Rangers, what's the damage? The weirdest thing is 20-2, 27 minutes in. They're only ahead by 5,000. Gold. 12,000 experience.
Hashtag Alchemist thinks. Like, this is basically any Alchemist game ever. Oh, the skewer on time. He finds Pasha. They don't have RP. They don't even have mana on Mag.
He's got BKB. He turns to fight this one, but Solo's gone. Tron just killed someone at the middle lane, but I'm going to keep watching up at top because Cheshire Cat with J4. They've got Winter's Curse. They've got everything they need here. As Pash the BKB wears off, they can just keep on chasing him down. Curse is there with a Vision Death Ward down, and a Gyrocopter, you're out. No buyback up on you. 60 seconds without your one roll carry.
Oh, Solo.
Rough. Oh, he can't.
He didn't have Skewer. I don't know why he didn't have it.
Of course, he came back with a relocate. Yeah,
the thing is, Solo wanted to relocate out the Gyrocopter, but I think the BKB made it impossible for him to tether to him. So I don't know. It was just some super weird stuff, and they unfortunately lost the Gyrocopter just because of it.
We need 10 more kills, Skim. 10 more kills for Power Rangers.
Really? Really?
The meme is real. It's alive.
Yeah, I'm on board. I tried to find. It
doesn't sound like you're on board. You sound pretty sad.
I tried to find another number there we could replicate, but then I kind of realized that
we can do 644 as well.
Nah.
No.
Nah. I'm on board.
966.
Do you think that Vega is the kind of team that if they say their throne is about to fall and they're like it's like 31-2, is Vega the kind of team to give away one more kill to do that? Are they dank enough?
I don't think they are. Like, they've always been...
So. Oh, Tron. If he jumps down, he's gonna fall. Oh, the timing.
Wait, what? Where is he? Oh, right, Mag over here.
Mag was just like, oh my god, that was so close actually.
Like, the trouble is they have Solo on their team.
Shashaka, they find him now. He's dead.
Yep. The pounce, the bash. Mag. Dead. Okay, that...
Oh, they want to contest Roche. Oh, is he gonna TP in and die?
Oh
yes,
my god, the cogs push back! Cheshire Cat on the money, the skewer back and Mag. I think GG's are coming. I actually think that you... Yeah. I think you type GG now. That is a tilting moment if I've ever seen one.
Oh my god, this is... I feel like the buyback itself wasn't even that bad because I guess they wanted to contest Roshan and they definitely needed Mag with his Vlads for it. But TPing to the tier 2 when you know that you just died there is not the play. That's so not the play.
Arise, you sneaky devil. Full staff up. Blink,
honestly,
Shadow Blade, and RP.
I've seen this in a YouTube video where, like, this is the exact position that Arise has been in that YouTube video. I'm just saying.
Oh, really? Well, look at Cheshire Cat as well. He's got hookshot. His Aghanim Scepter allows for it.
He's got
back.
it.
No one. He finds the Alchem with a bash. Tron, first hit, bash is out, but Relocate will save him. Hookshot in now to Pasha. And they actually only brought the Alc back a couple of thousand range behind the tier 2. Now, what's that? One ultimate expended. And when does the ultimate come back off cooldown? Now! It's ready. They've wasted a bit of mana on the clockwork. That's it. Whereas the Alchemist has no ulti for a good 20 seconds.
Yeah, this is actually really important because without his ultimate, he's just gonna die for sure. And I mean, you could see how squishy he actually was. Like, they almost killed him. If it hadn't been for the relocate, he would have been dead. So And they can just, and they didn't even use RP. Like, Power Rangers is fully equipped.
They used hook shot. That was pretty much it. First ranks, the ranged one. Gonna drop there, and looks like they're gonna bail themselves out a little bit. Just wait up on the high ground, wait for the next creep wave to come in. I don't see why you wouldn't go back in. MKB is done for that Slark as well, so Solar Crest not going to stop you from pounding into the no one out. The telekinesis stun. They've got a good amount of damage here, but Winter's Curse comes in. Hook shot's there with the Death Ward as well. Tron still not dead. It can't kill him. He gets himself invis. He's got the Shadow Blade as well. RP now down from Horizon to Pasha. BKB's up, and it's time to retreat. Time to bail out a little bit here for Power Rangers. Just recoup. Make sure you don't lose anything. Regen back up, and Slark full HP, decent amount of mana. GG is cool, 26-2. They needed 6 more kills, but Vega Squadron, they've had enough. That's it. Game number 2 goes the way of Power Rangers. So 1-1 is the end result.
Vega's not dank enough. If you're Vega, you give away 6 more kills, man.
That's what I'm saying. Like, they've got solo on their team. It's not happening. If it's Virtus Pro would do it, I think. Maybe Monkey Business does it as well. I don't think there are many teams that would, you know, put pride to one side.
Monkey Business is down for that.
Yeah.
They'd probably even feed enough kills